Hello, this is Mrs. Silva back for part 2. Today we're going to be going over section 4 of the PSAT practice test. This is the booklet that was handed out in school. If you were not given this practice test in school, then I will have a PDF of the document we are going to be working through linked down below. So at this point you should have already worked through section 4, tried all the problems, and then this is going to be a very fast and quick review going through each problem and making sure that you know how to do each and every problem. So section 4 is a 45-minute test. There will be 31 questions, so it's a very fast test. We need to find the quickest way to do each problem. If you can think of a quicker way to do any of the problems that I'm doing here, feel free to leave a comment down below on how you solve that problem in a quicker, faster, more efficient way. But for right now, we are going to work through these 31 problems very quick. And here we go. Now, section 4 is the calculator portion, so you need to make sure that you bring a calculator with you on test day. And here we go, starting with number 1, right over here. I'm not going to be reading through every part of the problem just because at this point you should have already read through the problems and tried them on your own. And to just make this go through a little bit quicker, I'm not going to read everything word for word. So for question 1, skipping down to the bottom here, it says, during which of the following periods is the increase in the number of students with part-time jobs the largest? So it's looking for the steepest part of the line. So I look at quarters 4 through 6, it is increasing. 7 through 10 is definitely steeper than 4 through 6. Then I have 11 through 14 would be this part of the line, and then 13 through 16 over here. The steepest part is definitely right here at quarters 7 through 10. So we are moving on to the next question. Eli saves money each month to buy a new computer. The total amount he has saved, T, can be calculated using this equation, where M is the number of months. So every month he is saving $30. So 83 is what it's asking for. What does the number 83 represent? That would be his starting balance, or what he has to start with. So that would be A. Then over here, number 3, according to the Department of Agriculture, consuming 100 grams of banana provides 0.15 milligrams of zinc. So 100 grams of banana is 0.15 milligrams of zinc. For which of the following is the closest to the number of milligrams of zinc provided for 140 grams of banana? We can set up a proportion to solve this. We're going to use cross multiplication. 100 times x is 100x. 0.15 times 140. Remember, this is the calculator portion, so you can plug that into the calculator, and you will get 21. We divide both sides by 100. Again, you can plug it in the calculator, or if you can do that in your head, it is 0.21. And moving on to the next question. Number 4. When the equation y equals 5x plus p, where p is a constant, is graphed, the line passes through this point. Now, there are different ways that you could do this. You could graph it, you could use point slope form, but again, we're going for speed. We're going to take this xy and we're going to plug it into this equation and solve for p. So y is 1, 5 times negative 2 plus p. I get 1 equals negative 10 plus p. Just add 10 to both sides and we get p equals 11. So it is D. Moving to the next question, number 5. Now we're given a graph here. Again, just skipping to the questions, which of the following statements about the relationship between the number of times at bat and number of hits is true? So here's number of times at bat, number of hits. It's definitely a direct relationship. As one increases, the other is increasing, so that's what I'm looking for. So increases, then decreases, nope. Increases, increases, okay, probably this one. Then it says increases and the number of hits remains constant. If that was the case, you would have this straight line here, like a horizontal line, nope. And decreases, increases, no. So as one increases, the other increases. Number 6, for the player with 450 times at bat, the actual number of hits the player had is approximately how many fewer than the number of hits predicted by the line of best fit? So we go to 450. The actual dot is right here, and then the line of best fit is right here. Looking at the scale over here, it's 100 to 125, so this is probably about 125. I would guess this is about 115, so the difference there is about 10. Okay, number 7. An advertisement states that the printing rate of a certain printer is 400 characters per second. Writing that down, 400 characters per 1 second. According to the convention, one word consists of 5 characters. What would be the advertised printing rate in words per minute? Okay, 400 characters divided by 5 characters per word gives us 80 words. for 1 second. Now it wants to know per minute. So I'm going to times this by 60 because there's 60 seconds in a minute. And then I also need to times this by 60. I get 4,800. So our answer is 4,800. Next one, the table above shows the yearly salary in dollars of an employee at a company. Which of the following best describes the type of model that fits the data in the table? What kind of relationship here? If it was linear, it would increase at a constant rate. So I'm going to subtract these using my calculator to find the difference. And the difference here would be 1,140. I've already, subtracted it in a calculator. The difference between these 2 years would be 1,174. And then we have 1,210 here. So it's definitely not a constant rate. So I'm going to cross out the linear ones. And now I'm going to look at exponential. Okay, so the difference between these answers is either 3% or 9% each year. So if I take this increase, maybe it's 1210, and divide it by the previous salary, it comes out to an answer that's 0.03 and then something, something, something. So about a 3% increase, so I can choose C. And number 9, now we are subtracting polynomials and simplifying. So here with the subtraction symbol, I'm going to multiply -1 to all of these terms, and then I'm going to combine like terms if I can. So rewriting this part of the polynomial, y squared plus 5xy squared, and now I'm going to multiply everything by -1. That will turn some of this positive and some of it negative. And then positive 3y squared. Okay, so now I'm going to combine like terms. I notice x squared y and another x squared y over here, so that's 2x squared y. And then I have -3y squared and positive 3y squared, so that just actually cancels, that's 0. And then we have 5xy squared and -3xy squared, so that would be 2xy squared. Looking for that in my answer choices, and it is A. Number 10. At this, which of the following describes the solution to the equation above? I'm going to simplify this to see what happens. 4x minus 1/2 x. I don't like fractions. I'm going to change that to 4 minus 1/2 would be 3.5x minus 7. 7 times 1/2 would be 3.5x, and 7 times -7 would be -49. I'm going to continue to simplify this. Oh, and 3.5's cancel, they're not there. So I get -7 equals -49. Obviously, that is not equal, so therefore when that happens, the equation has no solutions. Moving on to number 11. Okay, again, not going through all the wording here. Based on the information in the table, which of these statements is true about the ranges and medians of Joe and Sam's bills? So we're going to do Joe over here, Sam over here. We're going to find the range, and we're going to find the median. The range and the median. The range is the greatest number minus the smallest. So the greatest right here is 193, smallest is 145. If I subtract those two numbers, we will get 4782. Again, you're just plugging those numbers in a calculator. And then for the range of Samuel's data, the largest would be 188, and the smallest is 149. If you subtract these two numbers, we get 39.76. And then it also wants to know the median of the numbers. Now, the way you would have learned it in school is list out the numbers from least to greatest. We don't have time for that, so I'm going to number them from least to greatest so I can find out what the middle one is. This would be first, then second, third, fourth, and fifth. So the middle one right here is 180, 33. And then over here, the middle number, again, numbering them from least to greatest, least, right here, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I get 181.27 for the median over here. Now looking at my answer choices, both the range and median of Joe's bills are less. No, the range is higher. Both the range and median of Joe's bills are greater. No, the median's less. The range of Joe's bills is less than the range of Samuel's bills. No, it's greater. The range of Joe's bill is greater. Yes. And while the median of Joe's bill is less. Yes. So it would be D. Okay, over here, cars in service on a railroad. The table above presents information about 810 train cars in service. We're going to need that number. Approximately what percentage of the train cars is in service are double-decker cars that have been in service for less than 10 years. 16 are double-decker. So we're going to take 16, put it over that 810, divide it out in your calculator, and you get 0.019, which is about 2%. Moving on. Number 13. A moving company uses plastic wrap to bundle groups of boxes together. If a portion of plastic wrap that measures 900 inches in length is used to bundle each of the boxes, how many groups of boxes can be bundled with 1,500 feet? So 1,500 feet is the total amount they have, but we need to make sure the unit's the same. So 1,500 feet times 12 inches per foot, we'll put that in inches, and then we can divide that by 900 inches per bundle. So multiplying the 1,500 by 12, we would get 18,000. And then divide that by 900. You can cancel out your zeros here. 180 divided by 9 is 20. 14. What is the difference in the number of calories in cheeseburger at Riverside Diner and the median number of calories in cheeseburgers in all 6 restaurants? Okay, so I need to find the median here. I'm going to do it the same way I did before. Number it from least to greatest. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I need the middle, which would be in between 3 and 4. So I need to just take the average of those two numbers, add them, divide by 2, and we will get 855 as the median. It wants to know the difference between Riverside Diner and the median, so we subtract those two numbers and get 265. See, and moving on. Number 15. Circle is graphed in the xy plane. The equation for a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. HK, that's the center of the circle, so h would be your x, k goes with the y, and then we're going to just plug those numbers in. So x minus 4 squared and y minus -2, that would actually turn into a plus 2 squared, and then the radius is 3 squared, which would be 9. So our answer is between these two, and it's actually C. Okay, and next question, number 16. We are referring to this table here. Again, not going to go through all the details, but there is 327 students total. We'll use that number at some point. If a 9th grade student at high school is chosen at random, which of the following is closest to the probability that the student will have a GPA of 3.0 or greater? So here we have 61 plus 95 would give you your total number of students with a 3.0 or greater, and that comes out to 156. And we put that over the total number of students, divide it out, and you get 0.477, which is about 0.48, and there we go. Next, we have what is the difference in the nearest whole percent between the percentage of students enrolled in Propel who have a 3.0 or greater and the percentage of students not enrolled in Propel who have a GPA of 3.0 or greater. So over here, our total 61 plus 48 is 109, 95 plus 123 is 218. So 61 out of 109 in Propel, and then 95 over 218 not in Propel have a 3.0. We divide this, we get 56%, or the decimal you actually get is 0.5596, which rounds to 56%, and then you get over here 0.4357, which rounds to 44%. Subtract those two numbers, and that's where you get the 12% difference. Number 18, of the students enrolled in the Propel program, the ratio of boys to girls, so that's boys to girls, is approximately 2 to 3. So 2 is your boys, 3 is your girls. Which of the following is the best estimate of the number of girls enrolled in the program? Okay, we're just talking about people in Propel, and girls, so 3 out of 5 of the kids are girls. So since it's a 2 to 3 ratio, if you were to have a total column, it would be 5. So 3 out of 5 are girls, and we can set up a proportion x over 109 students that are in the Propel program, and then you can cross multiply. 3 times 109, 327, 5 times x, 5x, divide by 5, and we get x equals 65.4. And again, you would be plugging this in the calculator. I just have it all calculated out to save us a little bit of time. So 327 divided by 5 is 65.4, so the answer is B. 19, an artist is creating a sculpture using bendable metal rods of equal length. One rod is formed in the shape of a square, and the other rod is into a shape of an equilateral triangle. So square, equilateral triangle. If each side of the triangle is 2 inches longer than each side of the square, so this would be x plus 2, x plus 2, x plus 2, and then each of these sides are x. How long in inches is each rod? So this would be 4x, and it's saying this is the same length, so 3 times x plus 2 will be the same, and we can solve for x. 4x equals 3x plus 6. And we get x equals 6. But there's 4 sides here, so 4 times 6 would be 24, and each rod is 24 inches. 20. Here we are going to simplify a little bit. We're going to factor out a 2 here, 2x minus 2, and then from the bottom factor out a 2 as well, x squared plus x minus 2. From here we need to further factor this out. So we're going to have an x here and x here, two numbers that multiply to -2, add to that x in the middle is plus 2 minus 1. And then just rewriting this, x minus 2 over 2 times x plus 2 over x minus 1. And then from here you would cancel these out if you could, but you can't. So we're just going to leave it like this. It is B. 21. A landscaper is designing a rectangular fountain with 4-foot wide path around it. This one I thought was way more complicated than it actually is. I started drawing things and calculating perimeter of the fountain and everything. You actually don't need to do any of that. It's asking in the design how many feet will the perimeter of the fountain increase for each additional square foot of the path area. So just looking at the equation, for every plus 1 for the square foot for the area, you could add 1/4 to the perimeter. So 1/4 times 4 is 1. So every time you add 1/4 to the perimeter, you would get an increase of 1 over here for the area. So our answer is B. 22, in the XY plane, the graph. Okay, so anytime it says that, I'm already sketching something out so I can visualize what they're talking about. Graph of the function q is a parabola, so that means it's making this shape. The graph intersects the x-axis is -1, 0, so right here. And it wants to know r0. If the vertex of q occurs at the point 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right here, where is the value of r? So with the parabola, it's going to go down the same way it went, like on this side, the same distance. So from here to this point, I'd go down 4 over 3. So if I go down 4 over 3 this way, I will get that point over here. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is at 5, 0. We're looking for this. It is 5. 23. Okay, liquid going through a cooling system is chilled so that its temperature decreases at a constant rate, 100 degrees to 25 degrees in 5 seconds. Which of the following functions represents the temperature C in degrees as a function of time T in seconds after chilling began? Okay, so C equals the original temperature is 100, and then it's decreasing. We need to find that rate. So 100 minus 25 is 75, and that's over 5 seconds. So 75 divided by 5 is 15. So it's going down 15 degrees per second, which they tell us to use T. So it is D. The formula for the volume of a sphere with radius r is shown above. The radius of planet Jupiter is 11 times the radius of planet Earth. Assuming the planets are spheres, how many times larger is the volume of Jupiter than the volume of Earth? Volume equals 4/3 pi. For Jupiter, it would be 11, well, factor of 11, and then for Earth, 4/3 pi, factor of 1 cubed. 11 times 11 times 11 is 1,331. Wait, 1,331. And then 1 times 1 times 1 would just be 1, so that means Jupiter is 1,331 times greater. Okay. Next, so we're going over to number 25. The population of squirrels in a park has been doubling every 15 years. Which of the following statements describes the type of function that best models the relationship between the population of squirrels in the park and the number of 15-year time periods? Okay, so if we had, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, let's say 10 squirrels, every 15 years they double, 20, 40, 80, 160, it's doubling. So since it's not changing at the same rate, then it's not linear for either one. It's exponential, and then it's increasing by the same percentage, so it's increasing by 200% each time, so it would be B. And function of f defined by this, what is f of x minus 4? So I'm going to plug this in for all of my x's here, and I get 3 times x minus 4 squared minus 5 times x minus 4 plus 4. This right here, I do have to FOIL that out. So I'm going to FOIL x squared negative 4x plus minus negative 4x plus 16. Then I'm going to plug that back in here. So 3 times x squared minus 8x plus 16. Start distributing this. And then distribute this 3 to these three terms, 3x squared minus 24x plus 3 times 16 is 48. Bring everything down. Now I'm going to combine like terms. 3x squared is the only term like that. Then I have these two I can combine, negative 29x, and then the constants, combine those. 68 plus 4, 72, and we're good. And that is D. Okay, next question. Systems of equations, at what point would these lines intersect? What I would do, since x equals 1/3 y, I'm going to plug this right into the second equation. 154 minus 4y equals 10 times 1/3 y. And then continue simplifying and solving for y. This I would get 10/3 y, or 3 1/3 y, and then add 4 to both sides, 4y, sorry. And then 154 equals 7 1/3 y. From here, I'll divide both sides by 7 1/3. In the calculator, what I would do is just, and I'm sure there's different ways you could do this, I'm just trying to go the quickest way for me. 154 divided by 7 point, and I'm going to just put a bunch of 3's in there. And it comes out to this number. Now, it has all of that extra because the 0.33 technically is rounded, but the answer is 21. So y is 21. If I was very confident, I could just choose this one because it's the only one where y equals 21. If you wanted to just double check, put 21 in for y here. 21 times 1/3 is 7, so that means x equals 7. And there's your coordinates there. Okay, moving on to the free response questions. A grocer carries 2 types of frozen meals. Okay, John wants to purchase a combination of the 2 types of meals with no more than 350 grams of fat and no more than 2,975 grams of carbohydrates, and we have this here. I'm going to use F for the stir fry and C for chicken. So for grams of fat, we have 4 times stir fry plus 5 times the chicken. Has to be less than or equal to 350 grams of fat. And then for the carbohydrates, 40 times the stir fry, 35 times the chicken, less than or equal to 2,975 carbohydrates. Now from here, it says if John purchased 10 chicken, so 10 for the C, so 5 times 10, 50, subtract 50 from both sides. I'm left with 4F is less than or equal to 300. And I'll just leave that right there for a second. Then 35 times 10 chicken meals would be 350. Subtract 350 from both sides, and I get 40F. Here, I'm zooming out. 40F is less than or equal to 2,000. Let me look at my cheat sheet here. It's 2,625. Now what I'm going to do is divide both sides by 4 to see how many stir-fry meals we could buy. So 300 divided by 4 is 75, so F is less than or equal to 75. So no more than 75 meals to be under the grams of fat. And then over here, divide by 40. Oh, I didn't realize I put too many 2's in here. This would be 2,625 divided by 40. And it comes out to 65.625. So we can't buy any more than 65 meals to be under the carbohydrates. So either 75 or 60, we can't buy any more than 65 to be under for both grams of fat and carbohydrates. So the answer is 65. Okay, and the next one, if xy is a solution to the system of equations above, what is one possible value of the product of x and y? So what I'm going to do is actually take this, plug it in for y here, and x minus 1 equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. And I'm going to simplify this. So add 1, subtract x. So I get 0 equals x squared minus 5x plus 4. Then I'm going to factor it. And it is x minus 4 and x minus 1, 2 numbers that multiply to positive 4 that add to negative 5. And then this equals 0, so I'm going to set each one of these equal to 0 and solve for x. Plus 4, x equals 4, and then over here, x equals 1. Now I'm going to take this number, plug it back into one of these equations. It doesn't matter which one, I'm just going to go with the simplest of the two. And I get y equals 3. So our coordinates here would be 4, 3. And then for this one, I'm going to, again, plug this into this equation. Y equals 1 minus 1. Y equals 0. So my coordinates here are 1, 0. So for these, sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't see it. There's the coordinates there. For these, if I did 4 times 3, I would get 12. If I did 1 times 0, I would get 0. So either one of these answers can be put as the answer on the PSAT. And the reason why we multiplied these is because it said it wanted the value of the product of x and y. So once I found x and y, I had to multiply them to get that. Okay, and the last two problems on the practice PSAT, right here it does give us a graph. It says in 2006, the price of the king crab was $8 per pound. So I'm talking 2006 right here. Looks like 180, and it's in millions, 180 million pounds of crab. $8 per pound at the beginning of the year and dropped to $7 at the end of the year. If 60% of the king crab supply was sold at the higher price per pound and the rest was sold at the lower price, what was the total revenue generated in millions of dollars? Okay, so first 60%. So I need to do 180 because in 2006 they did 180 million pounds. 180 times 0.6 would give me what 60% is, and that comes out to 108. So for the first 60%, it was $8 per pound, and then for the latter 40%, which is 72, it was $7 per pound. So if you do 180 minus 108, you get the 72, or you could do 180 times 0.4, you'd get 72, and that's how you'd do that. Then from here, 108 times 8 is 864, and then 72 times 7, 504. Add these numbers together, and you get 1368. That's millions of dollars, but that's what it's looking for in the answer box. And then 31, last but not least, in 2011, the price of king crab was $17 per pound, so $17 here. Looks like we're at 80 million pounds of crab. In 2012, X million pounds of crab were sold at $16 per pound. If the total money generated from sales each year was the same, what is the value of X? Okay, so we have 80 million pounds at $17 per pound. That would equal the cost per pound in 2012, and we need to figure out how many pounds were sold to match the same amount of money generated here. So 80 times 17 is 1,360. 16x, divide both sides by 16, and we get 85 million pounds of crab. 85 is what you would put in the answer box. So good job with section 4. Here is the answer key if you want to go through and check your work. If you figure out, well, these don't mean anything, but this right here, these are all the answers if you want to go through your answer sheet and see how you did. And good luck with the test. Good luck with the PSAT. If you're taking it tomorrow, good luck and have a good night.